Hi, I'm here at the 2009 Toastmasters International Convention, and we are doing the Incredible Women of Toastmasters series, and I am very pleased to have Clare Murphy here with me today. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Well, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself since I just met you?
Okay, I've been in Toastmasters 28 years.
28?
Yes, and I live in Queensland in Australia. I've spent most of my time in the north of Queensland in District 69, and I have enjoyed the organisation so much that after I finished District Governor I decided that I wanted to be an international director. I didn't even know they existed till I was District Governor.
I know.
because we never had directors overseas, and then we got one director, and so I was the only director from overseas for 2 years.
Now, were you the first woman director?
I was the first female director from overseas.
That's congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And I found it a really humbling experience to be an international director. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. But what I liked most was that everyone was just so appreciative of the leadership of the organisation, and I think when you're a district governor and even a lieutenant governor, you're so busy trying to help your district that you don't realise that they are really appreciating that as well.
Oh, that's a good perspective. So what made you join Toastmasters to begin with?
Well, I was a police officer. I've only just retired now, but I was a police officer. I was going out and speaking to groups all the time about criminal issues, crime prevention issues, drug issues, and my uncle was in Toastmasters and said, come along. And when I went to my first club meeting I thought, this is really fantastic, but the club I joined were real social animals, so we had really good meetings, but once a month or every couple of months we'd also have some sort of a social, and I found that they were a group of people. I felt like I was in my family and I felt safe there.
You found your mothership.
Yes, I found my mothership, and I felt safe in the environment, and I knew that if someone tried to attack me because of my work, my friends would come to my rescue. And I just loved it, and it really allowed me to let down barriers that I used to put up at work. I used to put up a lot of brick walls, and it really allowed me to be me.
Now that is absolutely fascinating. Can you elaborate on maybe a wall and how Toastmasters help you break down that wall?
I guess you get a lot of distrust when you're a police officer. You come across so many traumatic situations, and it gets to the stage where you don't know if you can trust people. And as a result, you start looking at everybody like they might be a criminal.
Right.
Yes. And particularly people who are different, like they might have a tattoo or different things like that. When I joined Toastmasters, I found that the people who joined Toastmasters were reflective of everybody else out in the community, but that they were there to improve themselves, and that they weren't all bad. There wasn't, some ghost hiding behind every door. And so it really helped put me back in perspective, people back in perspective. Yes.
So that's a real gift.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought it was fantastic, and of course I've just seen so many people learn and grow, and I've had guys cry on my shoulder and say Toastmasters saved my marriage and things like that, you know.
Now how's that for a benefit of Toastmasters?
Yeah.
It saves marriages.
Well, actually he said that he was practicing evaluation at the club and giving points for improvement, but also complimenting on what was good. And he realised that at home he wasn't doing the same thing, and he thought, hold on, I'll start doing it. So what he'd do is make sure he had something positive to say today. Then he found after a while, hey, she's not really that bad to live with at all. And yeah, they sort of rejigged
That's fascinating.
Their relationship. Yes.
What other secret benefits have you found from being a Toastmaster?
A lot of networking. It's amazing how I saw a movie recently called The 6 Points of Separation. Mm-hmm. And Toastmasters is so reflective of that, because you meet people from so many different walks of life. And it's funny how when you suddenly think, I need a good dentist, you find out that one of the Toastmasters happens to be a dentist. Or you think, I need to get some information in relation to a particular issue, and then you find out, well, someone in Toastmasters actually does that sort of stuff or knows that sort of thing. So the networking's just a really hidden benefit that I don't think people understand. And when you first walk through the door of a Toastmaster meeting, you really don't realise the the educational and people experiences that you're going to be able to get.
Well, that's very interesting. Now, what advice do you have for new Toastmasters?
I think the first thing is that you go along to your, a new club, we'll start again. For new Toastmasters, yes. My advice for new Toastmasters is that firstly, you've got to be prepared to step outside your comfort zone. And like, for example, when I first joined, I hated evaluation and it terrified me no end. But when I learnt how to do it, when I learnt how to analyse and find what needs, what's good and why, what needs improving, why does it need improving, how does it need improving, taking the extra step for the negative aspect, I found that was a wonderful skill. I felt so confident and I transferred it over into my work. So I suddenly found in assessing my staff that I was being far more positive, I was looking for what they did good, and also I found a subtle way of telling them, you need to upgrade your skills, mate, in this area, you know? And instead of saying, you're no good at this, and unless you pull your socks up, you were able to say, you're really trying hard in relation to that aspect, but mate, if you do a bit more training and get this experience, then you can really go further.
So you learned a lot about diplomacy.
Oh yes, tact. Definitely. I'd say tact is probably one of the biggest things. Tact is one of the biggest things that I learnt in Toastmasters. Instead of going, sit, heel, stand, stay. It's, you might like to, or have you considered?
Have you considered?